Howdy, this is David Groce, your Texas tax and lawman, talking about the next step in starting your own business. Count the costs. Counting the costs is about putting pencil to paper and doing the detailed calculation, estimating, and research to know if your plan will work. It's not enough just to have a great story, an excellent product, or even a smooth process outlined. You need to drill down to the brass tacks and know that your plan will work and accomplish your goals. Generally, count the costs breaks down into 3 steps. Determine profitability, develop a marketing plan, and do your research. When I say determine profitability, our end goal is to produce a projected pro forma income statement that forecasts sales, cost of goods sold, and expenses to determine a future profit. I usually run my projections on a good, better, and best basis. Good is the minimum that I could sell to justify being in business. This is my worst case scenario that would still make it worth my time to start the business. The best is what I would like to really accomplish. This is my optimistic dreaming if everything goes as planned, my best case. For the better, I usually split the difference between my optimism and my realism and dial down my expectations. If all my numbers still look too good, then I usually dial those back another 10 to 20% because I'm a conservative guy who would rather underpromise and overperform than overpromise and then disappoint. To help you grasp this concept, I have prepared the attached pro forma profit and loss for Company X for October through December. In column A, I list the products that we are selling under gross sales. I identify my target sales price for each item and my cost for each item. I then project out the extended sales numbers by month and cost by month. When I subtract the cost from the sales, this gives me gross profit. Gross profit divided by gross sales gives you the gross profit margin, which tells you the profitability of what you're doing. You can calculate this by item or sales on the whole, as I have done. I then add up all my expenses and deduct them from gross profit, and this gives me net profit or loss. From this simple sheet, you know whether this business is going to generate enough income to replace your current income or to justify your investment into it. You can do a more detailed analysis or project this out further, but this profit and loss answers the profitability question. Second, we need to develop a marketing plan. This is probably the hardest step in starting and running a business. Where are you going to find your clients? People make you money. Life is about relationships. What is your means for meeting these potential clients and getting them to do business with you? In sales terms, this is called the sales funnel. Make a list of the meetings, groups, or social events you're going to attend, and then have potential clients or customers in those meetings. Then identify how many leads you think you will meet. Then ask how many of those leads will actually schedule an appointment and let you give them a quote or presentation. Of those clients you present to, how many will actually buy your product or service? This is the sales funnel. You may have to talk to 100 people to get to 10 appointments to get to 5 sales. That would actually be a pretty good sales funnel where you close 5% of your potential leads. Lots of people call this your marketing plan, and I'm fine with this term. This is the make or break part of your business. You may make the best widget in the world and be the most skilled person in your field, but until someone buys your product or service from you, you have nothing. Third, do your research. Some people use a SWOT analysis to identify your strengths and weaknesses, and then the opportunities and threats that you face. The SWOT analysis looks at 2 positive items and 2 negative items. The positive ideas are your strengths and your opportunities. Why do you want to go into business? You should be able to state that in a clear and convincing way. List here the education, skills, tools, equipment, cash, and other resources and abilities you have to succeed, and then identify why this time, place, and product are right for starting your business. The second 2, weaknesses, and threats should identify your challenges and the barriers of entry that you must overcome to succeed. This is where you identify the equipment you need, the license you must have, and the challenges that you will face. You also have to look at your competitors and what is happening in the market. If you have the perfect carrying case for the flip phone and the whole world has moved to smartphones, then maybe that is a threat to your plan that would stop you from going into business. Keep in mind, I'm a guy who believes in positive thinking and looking on the bright side of an issue. However, in this phase of planning, you have to take a long, hard look at what could really go wrong. What are the true costs of starting this business? And then determine if it is right for you. Keeping yourself from making a mistake is just as important as encouraging yourself to take a risk. I'd love to tell you I came up with these steps on my own, but the words "count the costs" come directly from Luke 14. This is Jesus' own advice to his disciples when he was calling them to follow him, to join him, to start their new venture in business, if you will. Jesus tells us this: "For which one of you, when he wants to build a tower, does not first sit down and count the cost to see if he has enough to complete it? Otherwise, when he has laid a foundation and is not able to finish, all who observe it begin to ridicule him, saying, 'This man began to build and was not able to finish.'" Now, if Jesus tells a story and says everyone is going to laugh at you if you don't do this part first, you might ought to do that part first and do it right. Hey, if you're thinking about starting a business, set aside some time to do the hard work. Think through the process, determine if it's profitable, develop a strategy to make sales, and then analyze the terrain. If after counting the costs you're still good to go, then join me next time to take our next step in starting your own business. Seek wise counsel. Until then, adios. Texas Tax and Lawman Legal Disclaimer. Hey, I'm a lawyer. You know I have to have some lawyer mumbo jumbo. This is a general information video, not client attorney privilege information. The content is information only and is not directed to any specific facts or circumstances and cannot be relied upon as a legal opinion, even though that would be nice and save you a trip to the lawyer. If you have a specific legal question, feel free to contact David Groce directly or seek qualified legal or tax counsel in your state of residence, state of mind, or whatever place you call home.